What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing our Tampa Bay Buccaneers season recap, and this is the fifth team on the list. Next is the New York Giants. I'm sure you guys are all waiting for that. The New York Giants is next. We're doing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, listen, this is a team that has one of the most potent offenses in the league, and they don't even have a run game. Think about if they did have a run game. Forcing the quarterbacks to throw it, obviously. Ryan Fitzmagic and Jameis Winston both did a pretty good job throwing the ball. They just had a really big problem with turnovers. Both quarterbacks threw over 10 turnovers. I believe one was 13 interceptions. It was 12 interceptions and then 12 and 14 interceptions. So that's pretty bad. I mean, that's 26 interceptions right there. If my math is correct, that's 26 interceptions. That's not good. On top of that, there were a lot of fumble problems. We all know Jameis Winston had a big problem with fumbles, but they were still one of the best offenses in the league. I believe they were third in offense, in total offense. Yeah, they were third in total offense, which is counted by yards. But I mean, they did a very good job on offense. They just couldn't run the ball. And they need a better quarterback that, you know, with less turnovers. Starting off, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, everybody thought this team was primed to make a playoff run. Their defense struggled a lot, but their offense was just so good. They started off 3-0. They mollywopped the freaking the Saints. I believe they let up 40 points, but they scored 48 points on the Saints, who later on we found out the Saints were an elite team, and we later found out that the Saints defense was pretty good. So, I mean, there's that. They gave up 48 points. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 1-0. And they beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And I can't remember the other team they beat. But, I mean, we all thought Tampa Bay was now a playoff team. And they were primed to win, you know, at least make a playoff run. That wound up not to be the case. They came back to earth. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick started doing worse against the Giants, in which we beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's when it all went downhill from there against the New York Giants. Ryan Fitzpatrick started doing worse, and then they threw Jameis Winston in there. He didn't do any better, and they wound up losing the game there. And from there on, it was a quarterback carousel. And Jameis Winston wound up playing most of the season, but I believe Ryan Fitzpatrick came in a couple times, and it just didn't fare well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have their best game is Week 1, beating the Saints 48-40 in Week 1 at New Orleans. So great job there by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But their worst game was getting beat 48-10 in Week 4, just 3 weeks later against the Chicago Bears. Their record was 5-11. They were last in the NFC South. And let's get on to their team stats. Here we go. Offensively, they're scoring 24.8 points. That's 12th in the league. They were third in total offense, over 400 yards per game. First in passing offense, 320 yards per game. That's huge. And then they only ran 95 yards per game. That's 29th in the league, so not good there. Their defense was absolutely just terrible. 31st in the league is 31st in the league, almost dead last in points per game, points allowed, with 29 points allowed. 383 yards per game, 27th in the league, and they were 26th against the pass and 24th against the run. So this is another team that can't stop the run and they can't run the ball. So that's why you lose games, when you can't stop the run and you can't run the ball. Their total sacks, they had 38 sacks, so not too terrible, but they gave up 41 sacks. Again, not too, I mean, we've seen worse. We've obviously seen worse from teams drafting in the top 10. But we've seen worse, but it's terrible. Their turnover ratio is -18. I mean, you cannot win with a -18 turnover ratio. You just can't win. Their total cap right now, I wrote down 10.5 million when I first did this, but I pulled up Spot Rack right now, and they're at 6.8 right now in total in 2019 cap. They really need to adjust their cap right now. They got to try to restructure Jameis Winston's deal, because I'm pretty sure they're going to get rid of him in the coming days. They might have to restructure Gerald McCoy. He's making 13 million, so they got to see what they can do there. Deshaun Jackson is making $10 million, so and Deshaun Jackson is pretty old, so I think they should let go of Deshaun Jackson. All right, so let's get on to their player stats. We've got Jameis Winston with the leading passer with almost 3,000 yards, 2,992, a 64.6 completion percentage, 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 90.2. He was sacked 27 times, by the way. Here's Ryan Fitzpatrick, 2,366 yards, a 66.7 completion percentage, 17 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, sacked 14 times for a quarterback rating of 100.4. So that's not too bad. So their quarterback ratings weren't terrible, but they just were turning the ball over a lot, throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball, things like that. So we have the running attack, and this, guys, this is so sad. I mean, it's so sad. Here we go. Peyton Barber, 234 attempts, 871 yards. Okay, not bad. 3.7 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. We've seen worse, right? Okay, their second leading rusher is Jameis Winston with 49 carries, 281 yards, and 1 touchdown. Then you got Ryan Fitzpatrick, 36 attempts, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's their 3 leading rushers on the team right now. 2 quarterbacks and a running back. That's ridiculous. That's terrible. We move on to the receiving game. Mike Evans leads the way, 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns. Chris Humphries in second place. Oh, no, that's Chris Godwin in second place. 842 yards and 7 touchdowns. Chris Godwin's a beast, man. He's one of the most underrated players in the NFL right now. He's so underrated. Chris Godwin is great. Wide receiver out of Penn State. We look at Adam Humphries now. 816 yards, 5 touchdowns. Very, very underrated slot receiver there for Tampa Bay. Then Deshaun Jackson, 774 yards and 4 touchdowns. They need to get rid of him. He's getting older, and they can do without him. They're one of the best offenses in the league. They can do without him. O.J. Howard had himself 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, so not too bad there. The leading tackler, obviously Lavonte David. Who else on that defense is going to pass Lavonte David in tackles? With 120 total tackles, 94 of them solo, 3.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. The sack leader, Jason Pierre-Paul, 12.5 sacks. It seems like these Giants players are doing much better without, off the Giants team. We have another player on this team that did just as well. The interceptions leader, Andrew Adams, out of all people, the backup strong safety that we had, 4 interceptions, in which he had in one game 3 interceptions. I believe that was against the Carolina Panthers. He had 3 interceptions against in one game. So there's 2 Giants doing better right now. That's not on the Giants right now. All right, guys, let's recap your draft. This draft was actually not, I don't think it was too bad. I actually liked it. Besides Vita Vea, I believe they should have went Derwin James all the way. They needed safety help. They didn't have no safeties there. I get it. They had their guy, Justin Evans, there, and I guess they believed in him. I believe they still have Chris Conti there. I mean, just not what you want to see from your safety core right now. You could have brought in Derwin James. He could have been everywhere for you. He covers in the slot. He covers in the box. He covers deep. He could have been doing everything. He should be the runner-up for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and you guys could have had him, but you drafted Vita Vea, even though you have Gerald McCoy there, and you have Vinny Curry, and you have Jason Pierre-Paul on that line. You did not need Vita Vea there whatsoever, and you still couldn't stop the run. You were still 29th in the NFL as far as stopping the run, so 24th in the league in stopping the run. And then you look at Ronald Jones, was a big disappointment. He was injury plagued. On top of that, when he did play, he really didn't do much. So there's that for Ronald Jones. He didn't do much. MJ Stewart, the cornerback, they drafted him. They needed him. Not that he played extremely well, but they needed him. So, I mean, that was a good draft pick. Carlton Davis as well was a good draft pick. I thought Carlton Davis was a borderline first-round pick, so I'm glad they got him there, even though he, again, did not play well. Alex Cappa, the guard, I don't believe he started for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think due to injuries, he did start for you guys. We look at Jordan Whitehead, who played very well for you guys. He's one of the better rookies that came out in this draft. We look at safety Justin Watson, who had playing time with some injuries. Inside linebacker Jack Cichy, and I don't think he did anything for you guys there. So I didn't mind the draft if every player really went on to their potential. They filled in some needs there. They needed a running back. They drafted a running back. They needed some cornerbacks. Definitely, they drafted 2 cornerbacks, 2 decent cornerbacks cornerback prospect didn't really play well. All right, so we're going to look at your free agents right now, and you've got a lot of free agents, and I really don't think you should bring most of them back. You just let them go. They're bad players anyway, borderline, depth players. On top of that, you really don't have the cap. You're looking at $6.8 million in cap right now. You have to make some adjustments. You have to cut Deshaun Jackson. You have to try to restructure or cut Gerald McCoy. Maybe that's why you got Vita Vea, is to, get rid, soon enough, get rid of Vita Vea. Gerald McCoy. So we'll see about that. You may have to restructure, I don't know. I don't know about restructuring JPP's contract since he played really well for you guys. And then you have to do something with your $20 million quarterback in Jameis Winston. So try to do something with him as well. But with $6.8 million in cap right now, you're looking at Brent Grimes. The dude's 38 years old and he's really small. Just get rid of him. He's not going to play well for you guys anymore. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'd get rid of him. He's going to demand big money. You don't have the cap for that. Adam Humphries, I say you keep him around. He's kind of underrated, so I guess you could sign him for a small contract. Chris Conti, get rid of him. Jacquizz Rodgers, get rid of him. Donovan Smith, your left tackle, re-sign him. You're going to need some tackle help. You might want to draft one as well, so draft a tackle. We look at your kicker, Cairo Santos. I mean, you're going to have to re-sign him, right? Because you guys are so plagued with kickers ever since, your boy, that kicker, I can't remember his name, out of FSU, that just did terrible. But then you have inside linebacker Kevin Minter. You need some linebacker help. Try to re-sign him for a small contract. Quan Alexander, you need to re-sign him. You cannot let go of Quan Alexander. I believe he got hurt in this year, but go ahead and re-sign Quan Alexander. He's one of your better, if not only, talent on that defense right now. So go ahead and get back Quan Alexander. Running back Peyton Barber, re-sign him, but he cannot be the starting running back. You guys are going to have to find a better running back. Ronald Jones is not doing it, and Peyton Barber is not going to get it done for you guys. Safety Andrew Adams, he deserves a re-signing after getting 4 interceptions for you guys. Isaiah Johnson, I don't think he played too bad either. Go ahead and re-sign him. And Josh Shaw, get rid of him. So that's the key free agents. I don't believe I wrote down all the free agents because I'm not going through all that, but that is the key free agents and who you should sign, who you should not, and you shouldn't sign most of them. There's not much talent on that Tampa Bay roster as far as the defense goes. Most of the guys are on the defense. So we look at your top 3 needs, and your top 3 needs are linebacker, cornerback, and running back. So let's find some potential free agents for you guys. All right, so we have some candidates for linebacker. You're looking at KJ Wright. He's 30 years old. He's getting older, but you guys can sign him. He's a good 4-3 outside linebacker. You look at Anthony Barr, who's one of the better outside linebackers, and now he's in the free agent market. Go ahead and try to re-sign him if you want to. I don't really see anybody else. You have Stephon Anthony from Miami. Deion Buchanan can be a good pick for you guys for a linebacker. So you guys have some options there for outside linebacker to bring in because you guys really don't have any help besides Lavonte David. Of course, he's the better linebacker, but you guys need somebody on that other side. Inside linebacker, I'd say you guys are okay because you do have Quan Alexander if you re-sign him. But let's look at some potential free agents you guys can get besides Quan Alexander. I don't know why you would want to let him go, but let's look at some potential inside linebackers for you guys. You have Avery Williamson from the Jets. You got Preston Brown from Cincinnati. Vincent Ray from Cincinnati. Manti Te'o from New Orleans. You have C.J. Mosley. If you guys can grab up C.J. Mosley somehow, you guys, like I said, you guys have to fix that cap up, and he may be the only big free agent you guys get. C.J. Mosley would be great for you guys. I mean, fantastic. He's a great run stopper. You guys will be fine against the run. He does fine in pass coverage. I say C.J. Mosley would be a great inside linebacker for you guys if you guys decide to get rid of Quan Alexander. For the cornerbacks, all the big cornerbacks are pretty much older, and it wouldn't be a really good idea in signing them. You've got Kareem Jackson at 31 years old, Morris Claiborne at 29. I guess you could sign Morris Claiborne. Rashawn Melvin from Oakland, E.J. Gaines from Cleveland, Jason Verrett from Los Angeles. He has some very big injury problems, so you may be a little weary in signing him. But again, you have Jimmy Ward from San Francisco, so you have some options there at cornerback. You guys can really do something if you had cap. You guys really need some cap space, man, because it's gonna be an issue trying to get some talent in here when you guys could bring in some talent. There's some pretty decent free agents that can obviously have some production for you guys, much better than the talent you have now that can do some work, but you guys don't have any cap space because you have 2 quarterbacks taking up the space. But then Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be gone. And you guys have some decent free agents for the running backs, some interesting free agents for the running backs. Latavius Murray, let's not forget that he's starter level. I believe he can be a starter, and he'll be a very cheap option for you guys. Let's not forget Orleans Darkwa, who is a free agent right now. Nobody's even thinking about picking him up right now. He's very talented. I think Orleans Darkwa deserves a chance with the team. You look at Mark Ingram, who might not be there because Alvin Kamara is there. It might not be there. We'll see what happens there. Spencer Ware is also another option. TJ Yeldon. And then you guys can't forget Kareem Hunt. There are a lot of teams interested in Kareem Hunt. And I said this in my live before. A team that's going to sign Kareem Hunt has to be desperate for a running back. I mean desperate, because there's going to be a lot of backlash coming into there. And you have Jameis Winston, then you're going to have Kareem Hunt. That's going to be a very weird situation for you guys. So if Tampa Bay signs Kareem Hunt, they are really desperate for a running back and really desperate for some production at the running back position. And any team that's going to sign Kareem Hunt has to be extremely desperate because there's going to be a lot of controversy there that they have to face. So those are your top free agent needs right now: linebacker, cornerback, and running back. For me, I say you need some offensive lineman help. They're not very good offensive linemen. You need to draft one. As far as tackles go, not good at all. I mean, it's trash. Absolutely trash. Don't even worry about getting offensive linemen here in free agency. You have to draft one. You're drafting early. I don't know if you want to go defense. You might want to go Jonah Williams. I don't know, but we'll see what happens there. You might want to go Devin White, the linebacker out of LSU. I don't know. You also need a kicker, and you need a quarterback. Those are my honorable mention needs: offensive lineman, quarterback, and kicker. So that is it for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need a lot of help, guys. They're one of the worst rosters in the NFL right now as far as defense goes. I mean, they're historically bad. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.